I remember those desperate lonely nights when I used to swipe on Tinder and it felt like each and every swipe ate away at my confidence because I just didn't seem to get anywhere that I thought, I was at least a moderately attractive guy. But every single swipe where I just got blanked again, again, and again, just led it to eat away at who I thought I was and the relationship that I thought I could get. And it felt like the future for me was going to be with someone that I never wanted to be with. And that was all there was. And that's all it was ever going to be. And that is one of the biggest problems with Tinder, that it destroys your confidence because the average guy on Tinder only has a 1 in 115 chance of getting a right swipe from a girl. It's catastrophically devastating, and that's what it felt like for me, that every single time I just swiped, it felt like the way that I saw myself was dropping and dropping and dropping. And whilst, yeah, maybe I could have done something, maybe I could have taken some better photos, curated my profile a little bit better, but I don't think this is the underlying problem. And I've got other videos showing you quite how demonic Tinder is as a company. But right now, I just want to speak to it on a practical level of what I think the biggest problem was. And to me, it's that Tinder is way too competitive. And what I mean by that is that there are just so many guys on there, and there's too many guys to the proportion of women. I think it's reported that in the UK, it got up to 85% male. There is just guys everywhere. The competition level is so high if you go on the app, and you don't notice because they do a very smart thing where if you think about it, when you go on Tinder, do you ever see another guy's profile? No, you only ever see the other gender's profile. So it feels like it's just you there and a sea of other women, but that isn't the case. Instead, the competition level is so skyrocketingly high because you're just swarmed by other men. And the reason for this is because the barrier to entry is so low and the reward is so high. Imagine the idea that for you to maybe meet the love of your life, for you to be able to have an amazing relationship with a girl, all you've got to do is download an app and swipe. Who in their right mind is not going to do that? That is, on the surface, the highest level leverage that you could ever find ever. It's like, what? I download an app, swipe a few times, and then I maybe meet the love of my life. Like, why would I not do that? Why would I not? And in theory, that's a beautiful idea. The issue is, and I know, that isn't how it works in practice. Instead, we go on there and we swipe, and we don't meet the love of our life. We don't even get a girlfriend. We don't even get a date. And in a lot of cases, especially like mine, you don't really even get a match. I think I can certainly remember like my younger self maybe getting 2 matches like a week, if that. And that's with, as I said, people that I didn't feel like I really wanted to pursue a relationship with. It was just me trying to get that little bit of dopamine from maybe getting a match from somewhere. And that was truly devastating. That's why I want to speak to today a core problem. When we decide that we want to go to areas that are highly competitive, if you want to enter a field that's so highly competitive, unless you know you want to put the effort in to get to the top 1%, it's simply not worth it. And that's the case with Tinder. Because if you speak to the top 1% of guys, they have a barrel of the time on Tinder. And not me hating, I'd like to be in the top 1% of guys. It sounds a bunch of fun. But they have a great time because they're in the top 1%. And this correlates across every other domain as well, of the fact that If you go into something highly competitive, sure, the reason that it's highly competitive is usually because it's low entry requirements. You then need to get really good, and you need to put in a lot of effort. For anyone out there that has started a Twitter profile, let's say, maybe you wanted to build a self-improvement business, me, or maybe you wanted to just put yourself out there, you'll see how difficult it is to gain traction on Twitter. Because the barrier for entry is so low, you're competing against anyone who has the willingness to type in a few letters and press send, i.e. competition sky high, but entry level super easy. We're so programmed to do the things that are super simple for the high reward, but we don't perceive the fact that yes, because it's super simple, it makes it so difficult to get any success. And this is what I want to then picture with dating, because as you'll notice, I'm not talking to you on Twitter, I'm speaking to you on YouTube, because my philosophy is different. I like to do the difficult thing first, because I know it will then be easy afterwards. And that is doing videos on YouTube, because there's a barrier to entry for that. Not everyone wants to be able to put their face out there, to speak on camera, to be able to have all of their mistakes and their opinions just tied directly to them. But I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to let you see all the times I mess up on camera, my flaws, my stutters, my inability to communicate exactly what I want to say at all times, and not have the opportunity to just go back and backspace, let's type this instead. Instead, you just get me, and that's difficult. But do you know what it does do? It made it a lot easier for me to be able to grow and connect with people and help others in the way that I want to. The channel has grown way faster on here than I ever could have done on Twitter. And that's simply because there was less competition here. There's less competition for me on YouTube, especially of people that are willing to put their face and their name to stuff in the relationships and dating space. Once again, that is something that is lower competition, because people just don't, they're scared to do it. It's more difficult. Like, I don't know, it could have social repercussions of doing that. So if I do the difficult stuff first, I end up getting the rewards way easier and way quicker, because other people aren't willing to do that. And this is what I do with dating as well, because how I approach it, I don't use dating apps anymore because they're awful. Instead, I simply go up and walk up to girls on the street and say hi, which to anyone will be like, that is so difficult. How do you do that kind of thing? Like, I just get to sit here and swipe. Yeah. But I have found I only really need to speak to about 5 girls or so, between 5 and 10, and I can go on a date. I actually tracked how many girls, so back in late December, early Jan, I decided I wanted a girlfriend again. I'd spent some time being single, and I was like, you know what? I'd like to have a girlfriend again. So I started tracking how many girls it took for me to speak to get a girlfriend. It took 34. And now I have a girlfriend. There was a bunch of rejections in there, obviously, but there was some dates, there was meeting up with people, and then I finally met the girl that I date now, and it took 34 girls. Imagine saying that it would only take you 34 swipes to get a girlfriend. That'd be insane. But the thing is, I did the heavy lifting on the front end. I did the brave thing. So when I go up to a girl and speak to her in public, I'm not one of many, because that's what you are. As soon as you're on a dating app, what differentiates you from the 2,000 other guys that she's going to have an opportunity to swipe on that week? Maybe you have a slightly cooler photo. There's not a lot, and you'll always be seen like that. But if I speak to a girl on the street, who else does that? Very few people. So I become one of one, and it's immediately she's willing to give me more of a chance. She's willing to engage if she's available. More often than not, if she's available and she likes me, almost guaranteed we're going to be able to go out on a date. And it just makes things so much easier for myself. I love approaching areas of low competition. If I go on a dating app, I get wiped out. There are just people that know how to do it better. But if I go out on the street, I can just go get a more beautiful girl than I ever would on a dating app, because the competition's lower. go to the place where the competition's low. And this applies to every domain. That stop struggling, fighting upstream against the sea of other people, well, in Tinder and in life, because it's not going to help you. It makes things really difficult, especially if you're trying to learn, if you're trying to get better at this, because you're not going to get any feedback. You're not going to get any results because you're just posting into the ether on Twitter or swiping into the ether on Tinder. I honestly get their names mixed up sometimes because I see Twitter and Tinder as like having a similar effect on your psyche, let's say. So finding a way to do the difficult thing up front then makes everything way easier afterwards. And I promise you it is worth it. And it isn't just some like happy-go-lucky, yeah, delayed gratification. No, it's just a better strategy. It's certainly the best thing that I did when I decided that I would start approaching girls in person. And it's what I work with my clients, the people that I now help coach go through this process. Because I don't tell them to use dating apps. We don't meet girls through dating apps. Fundamentally, it's flawed. I have so many reasons why it's a bad idea. But I'm not going to cover them here because England are kicking off real soon and I want to go watch the game. So I'm going to be wrapping things up with you because I don't want to miss kickoff. But if you use Tinder, you will always be that one of many and it's never out to help you. So instead I help all my clients use the techniques that I did to get a girlfriend, because not only is it an effective way to get a girlfriend, once you learn that skill, once you learn that bravery to do the difficult thing first, no one can take that away from you. If you manage to somehow, through the sea of people, manage to get a match on Tinder, maybe you get a girlfriend. What happens if that relationship ends? Then you get thrown back into the abyss and you're waiting on Lady Luck to give you a potential shot again. You're always operating from a position of scarcity. The only way a guy can have true agency over his dating life is when he's brave enough to do the difficult thing first. So I want you to be brave enough to do the difficult thing. And if you're still not quite sold on how bad Tinder really is, well, I've got a treat for you because this is kind of my specialty. I have got a video for you right here where I break down why Tinder will only ever doom you to being single for the rest of your life and destroy any ounce of self-esteem you could have. So if you're still on the fence about whether to go for this, check out that video here and you will see just how bad Tinder really is.